There are four types of termination in the parliaments. It is your dissolutions, prorogation, adjournment sine die. Let's learn their working mechanism in the parliament one by one. If there is parliament, then what we can expect is session, all right? If there is session, definitely there will be meeting. If there is meeting, there is sitting. What we are going to discuss now is how a sitting is terminated, how a session is terminated, how a house or how a current existing house is terminated. We'll get them or we'll learn them one by one. So there are four types of termination. Let's go across to the first type of terminations. The first termination says adjournment. Here in the adjournment, what we are going to discuss is about terminating a sitting. Means adjournment terminates a sitting and is done by the presiding officers for a specific time. Say for example, the Speaker of the Lok Sabha may say that the House is adjourned till 3 p.m. today. That means House is terminated and it will be reassembly by or after 3 p.m. So time specification is done. Let's go to the next type of termination. Next is adjournment sine die. Here also it terminates a sitting and is also done again by the presiding officers. But the difference between the adjournment and adjournment sine die is the specific unspecified time here in adjournment sine die, but specification of time here in the adjournment. But the similarities are it is terminating the sitting. Okay, it's terminating the sitting. It is terminating the sitting and is done by the presiding officers. And the difference is time given and this is not given. Here in adjournment sine die, the Speaker of the Lok Sabha may say the House is adjourned all the time without telling you the time period of or the time where the reassembly will be taking place. So that kind of termination is what we call as adjournment sine die. Let's go for the next termination. In the next termination, what you find is prorogations. This type of termination is done by the president. In the first two, there is adjournment and adjournment sine die. The termination is done by the presiding officer of the respective houses. But here in the prorogation, the termination is done by the President of India. And it is not terminating a sitting. In the first two, it is terminating, or the termination is all about terminating a sitting. But here in the prorogation, it is all about terminating a session. But here termination of the session can be done in two ways. The first is after the completion of the session. So for example, when the monsoon session is over, the Speaker of the Lok Sabha for that matter can say that the House business is over. So maybe the Speaker may say the House is adjourned sine die. And after the Speaker has pronounced that the House is adjourned sine die, after 2-3 days, prorogation will be declared. That means the President can say the session is prorogued. That is all about number one case or the case number one. And another is while the session is in progress. As the President is authorized to do, the House can be terminated even when the session is in progress if there is need of it. So there are two types of terminating or proroguing a session. One is after the completion of the session and another is even when the session is in progress. So please understand the difference between adjournment sine die and prorogation. Very carefully look at it with complete attention. Now let's go for the next termination, that is dissolution. This termination is very important because we're going to follow we're going to use this termination in some other important cases also. So please stay focused and give your undivided attention while I'm delivering with you about the dissolutions. Here in the dissolutions, it applies only in the Lok Sabha. Mind it, dissolution can never be for Rajya Sabha because Rajya Sabha is a permanent body. So dissolution can be only for Lok Sabha, and it is not done by the Speaker. It is done by the President. And here it doesn't terminate at the session or a sitting or anything else. It terminates the existing House until a new government is formed. I mean simply, when the tenure of 5 years is over of our government, That means the Lok Sabha has to dissolve and we have to go for the next election. So that type of termination of a house or existing house is what we call as dissolution. It is done by the president only for the Lok Sabha. And here there are two types of dissolution. One is automatic dissolution. There is after the expiry of the 5 years of that dispensation or of that government. If there is expired, then the president will announce dissolutions. Or if there is financial emergency as per the norms given, the terms of the national emergency, the president can dissolve the Lok Sabha. The case number 2 is, since the president is authorized to do, the president can dissolve the Lok Sabha before the tenure is over or before the tenure is completed. The president of India can dissolve the current or so-called existing house of the Lok Sabha. So this is all about the 4 terminations which we have to see there in the parliament. One is adjournment, adjournment sine die, prorogation and dissolutions. Now I hope you are crystal clear about the concepts. I'm giving you some like bullet type information about this 4. If you want to learn more learn more from other books, but the crisp understanding of the concept clarity of the termination is packaged here in my lecture. So you don't even need to go for other books also, but if you visit, you got it. Now since we have understood these 4 terminations, I invite you to the next the normal tasks of my day, that is looking at to the question of the day. Let's go to the questions of the day. Here are the questions. It says, who dissolves the parliament during national emergency? The options are Speaker of the Lok Sabha, Chairman of the Rajya Sabha, President of India, and none of the above. Let's reread the questions. The question says, who dissolves the parliament during national emergency? Most of you might be thinking about the President of India, but undoubtedly you are wrong, because the question says who dissolves the parliament. Parliament cannot be dissolved. Lok Sabha can be dissolved, because if you say parliament, it includes both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. But Rajya Sabha is a permanent body, is not subjected to dissolution. So the answer is not the president, but the answer is, it's all about none of the above. Because here in the dissolution, I have already explained that the national emergency, during national emergency, Lok Sabha can be dissolved, not the parliament. So please understand this well, and I hope you like my video. Please like it more, share it more, and please do subscribe to my channel. Stay tuned. Until then, bye bye.